Hey everybody, this is Earl Harville of Earl Harville Voice, formerly known as Harville Vocal Studio. And I'm coming to you today to talk a little bit about head voice and falsetto. There's still a lot of confusion concerning these terms, both from lay people and from voice teachers and choir directors. We have often thrown the terms around like they are the same, and there technically is a difference. So today's video is going to be kind of short and sweet, but I do want to clear up a couple things concerning head voice and falsetto. Okay, first of all, you're probably aware that your voice has two main registers, or two main sections, if you will. Chest voice, that's where we speak, that's where we sing notes with a lot of power. They're big. The vocal folds are close to the setup they are when we're speaking. So they're shorter and thicker, they vibrate more slowly, they create bigger, lower tones. That's chest voice. The upper register is where the vocal folds have started to elongate and thin out, so they vibrate faster, getting us higher pitches. Now, for a long time, especially when it concerns men's voices, the term falsetto would be thrown about quite a bit, as if that is the only means by which a male creates high pitches, and that's actually not true. Here's the difference from my vantage point between head voice and falsetto. Head voice is the sound we get in the higher part of our vocal range that occurs because the vocal folds close completely. They are closing in a similar manner to which chest voice does, where we get good adduction, as we call it, good closure of the vocal folds. So it's a sound that has more potential for power and size, and it makes us more versatile to have that sound. Falsetto, on the other hand, is producing the same pitch range as head voice is, but the difference is we don't have the same amount of medial compression, simply meaning we're not getting the same kind of engagement because the vocal folds don't adduct as much as it does for head voice. So there's still some space between the vocal folds where there's more air coming out. So for instance, this sound would be falsetto. You hear a lot of air coming through. It's a sound that does not have a lot of core to it. It's kind of a weak sound. That is a much less usable sound. It can be, there are stylistic uses for it, but it's a much less firm sound. So I'm going to be more limited in what I can do with that falsetto sound. Now this was, again, falsetto. Head voice, on the other hand, will find the vocal folds closing more completely, a more complete adduction. So this in turn would be this sound you get. We don't hear an extra escape of air as we do with falsetto. So head voice, so that's a high A for us guys. That's a sound that's got a lot more core to it, a lot more power, a lot more oomph to it than if I sing it falsetto. In my studio, I tell students that what we really want to develop is head voice because it is more versatile. You can sing head voice, and in order, for instance, for us to sing with a good mix, a good a blending of chest resonance and head resonance as we go higher, I'm going to have head voice there to meld with chest voice. Falsetto is not going to allow me to be able to connect in that same way because the chords kind of blow apart. So we need head voice so that we can get a good middle voice, and then that can carry us into the head voice more powerfully. Let's begin from my chest voice through my middle into a more powerful high sound up on this high F. If all I have is falsetto, those sounds are going to be very small. And again, stylistically, it's cool to use some breathy stuff. That's great. But in order to build the most efficient way of using your voice. When you're learning technique, it's really important to make sure you are developing head voice over falsetto. Again, these terms, we want to get some clarity there. And even I think we as voice teachers are being challenged to be more careful with the terminology. So one final time, head voice. We get really good adduction. It's going to give you more power. Get all that extra air coming through. It can be great for certain stylistic additions, but you don't want that to be your default. Luther Vandross in Seth Riggs' book mentioned that connected head voice is what would give a more solid, powerful high notes. Falsetto would only be used for effect. He didn't have to use falsetto as a default, and that way he had incredible high A's, B's, and C's. So you want head voice. That's what you really want as part of your main technical arsenal, is head voice. All right, so go forth and sing high. There you go.